Good morning everyone and welcome to the final Talk Tuesday of 2023. Excuse me, I seem to have started with a croak. I thought I'd start standing up so that I could shake my little elfie jingle bell for you rather than my usual chime. As it's nearly Christmas, it felt appropriate. So I thought today I would talk about my highlights of 2023 because last week I talked about reflecting on your year and I have been doing some reflecting on my year. And I really want to celebrate some of the highlights for me, which are in relation to my business, so they do have an impact on my followers as well. So there are going to be a couple from early in the year and a couple from later in the year, because those are just the way the highlights have panned out. So the first highlight for me was in February, I think, this year, when I rebranded. So I became, my business became New Dawn with Jackie Williamson instead of Reiki Spirit, which it had been. And that was to reflect the change in focus of my business, because whilst I am still a Reiki master and I still give Reiki treatments, it's very much a part of my work, it's not the only thing I do. So I wanted to rebrand to cover more of what I do. And my lovely brand designer, Amanda Duffin, came up with the fabulous name New Dawn, which really reflects the work that I do with clients, because it is all about creating your new dawn. So for me, that was highlight number one, not just because of the new name and the new brand, but because of what it has enabled me to do and to become. As my business evolves, I feel that I'm stepping into my new dawn as well. So it's all very, very appropriate. So that was highlight number one. Highlight number two for me was around a similar time, actually, when I went to the Southwest Expo and met the lovely Dr. Maria Mastrantonio, who has become a good friend of mine since then. Now, Maria is a practicing GP as well as a coach for professionals, and as well as spending lots of lovely time together and exchanging ideas, we are now going to be collaborating going into 2024 and giving talks on stress relief and well-being to professionals, and we're doing that together starting in January. So that was, so meeting her was the highlight, one of my highlights for 2023, but I'm sure that working with her will be one of the highlights for 2024. So those were my two early in the year highlights. And then the other two that I wanted to talk about are ones that have happened later in the year. Now, the first one of those might sound personal, but it does have business connotations. And that was when I discovered that I am an HSP, which for those of you who don't know means a highly sensitive person. Now, I discovered it in October by virtue of going on, attending a virtual summit, which was all about, it was called, I think, the HSP Awakening Summit, and there were loads of speakers who were all HSPs talking about various aspects of being an HSP. And it was really like, well, I was going to say a light bulb moment, but actually it was like lots of light bulb moments for me, just constantly listening to people talking and thinking, yep, I recognise that, yep, that's me, that resonates. And yeah, it just became completely clear that I am an HSP. And there is a test that you can take, which I then took. You can find it online if you're interested, which, you know, your answers to that determine whether you're an HSP. And I think I must have answered yes to 99%, if not 100% of the questions, which, you know, just reinforced what I had already discovered. So that was a highlight for me personally, but it was also a highlight for me in my business world, because it made sense of the way in which I do things and the way in which I serve people. And I realised that the wellbeing programs that I put together, because they were based on strategies that I had found helped me, then inevitably they are going to also help other HSPs because they helped me as an HSP. And I realised that probably quite a few of the clients that I have worked with in the past are also HSPs. Just looking back and you know, the things that we've talked about and the things that have come up has made me realise that a lot of them probably are. And so all of that put together made me realise that I think my niche is working with HSPs. Now, it doesn't mean that I won't work with other people. I will always work with people who want to work with me, who I feel that I'm a right fit with. If I don't feel that I'm the right fit for them, then I will help them to find somebody else who is. But I do think that I am ideally suited to work with HSPs because being one, I have lived the experience and I know what it's like, and I know the things that work for me and have worked for other similar sensitive clients. So that was a biggie for me. That was in October that I discovered that I'm an HSP. And October turned out to be a big month because that was also when I did my training, or at least the practical side of my training to become a chakra dance leader, facilitator. I'd done the theory earlier, but that was the 5-day practical, which came at the end of October, and it was absolutely amazing. It was just such fun. If you know me well, you'll know that I've loved dancing all my life. Actually, as a child, you may not know, I always wanted to be a dancer, but I wasn't able to go to dance classes, I suspect because my parents couldn't afford to send me, but it doesn't matter because I've just danced whenever possible. And now it really fills my heart with joy that I can bring chakra dancing to other people. And the reason that I love chakra dancing is that it combines energy work with dancing. So two of my absolute favourite things. I've done a previous video about chakra dancing and you'll hear me talk a lot more about it going into 2024. But essentially it is healing through dance, which is just fabulous as far as I'm concerned. And it's amazing to see the transformation that people experience when they come along and dance through the 7 main chakras. So that was my 4th highlight of 2023 that I wanted to talk about with you today. There have been lots, but those are the standout ones for me. And I hope that you are able to do some reflection if you haven't already and work out what stands out for you. Because I have to say, when I started reflecting on my year, it surprised me that it was only this year that I had rebranded to New Dawn, because that feels as if that's been with me for ages. So it is worth going back and seeing what's happened during the year, and just reliving, I think, the celebration of those highlights. But anyway, that was the topic for last week. So this one was all about highlights. I hope you've had some great highlights this year. So next week will be Boxing Day, I think, next Tuesday. So I won't be doing a Talk Tuesday next week. So the next one will be at the start of next year, which I think is I did have it written down. I think it's Tuesday, the 2nd of January. But as always, I'll post on my Facebook page the day before to let you know when I'm going to be going live and what I'm going to be talking about. So that's it for today. That's it for this year. Thank you as always for watching, and have a wonderful Christmas and a very happy New Year, and I will be back with you in 2024. So bye for now.